What if I told you that the future of humanity might depend on a cold, dusty planet millions of miles away? A planet with no breathable air, freezing nights, deadly radiation, and a surface that could kill you in minutes without protection. And yet, scientists, billionaires, and space agencies keep asking the same question over and over again. Can humans really survive on Mars? Not visit, not plant a flag, not take photos and come back, but actually live there, build lives there, raise future generations there. Today, we're going to talk honestly about Mars, without science fiction, without hype, and without false hope. Mars has always fascinated us. When we look up at the night sky, it stands out, red, distant, mysterious. For centuries, humans imagined it as a second Earth, a place with canals, civilizations, maybe even life. But the more we learned, the harsher the truth became. Mars is not waiting for us. It does not want us there. And surviving on Mars would be one of the hardest challenges humanity has ever faced. Let's start with the most basic problem: air. On Earth, you don't think about breathing. On Mars, every single breath is a fight for survival. The Martian atmosphere is more than 95% carbon dioxide, with almost no oxygen. If you stepped onto the surface without a spacesuit, you wouldn't suffocate the way people imagine. You'd lose consciousness in seconds because your blood wouldn't be able to carry oxygen at all. Death would follow very quickly. So surviving on Mars means creating artificial air constantly, without failure. One small leak, one broken system, and it's over. Then there's pressure. The air pressure on Mars is less than 1% of Earth's. That means water boils at a much lower temperature. The moisture in your body would begin to vaporize. Not explode like in movies, but still deadly. Your body is designed for Earth. Mars is fundamentally hostile to human biology. Now let's talk about temperature. Mars is cold, extremely cold. The average temperature is around minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Nights can drop even lower. Some days near the equator might feel manageable with the right suit, but most of the planet is brutally freezing. Every structure, every pipe, every machine would need constant heating just to keep working. And heat requires energy. A lot of it. Radiation is another silent killer. On Earth, we are protected by a thick atmosphere and a strong magnetic field. Mars is neither. Its magnetic field collapsed billions of years ago. That means cosmic radiation and solar radiation hit the surface almost directly. Over time, this radiation damages DNA, increases cancer risk, and harms the nervous system. Living on Mars would expose humans to radiation levels far beyond what we experience on Earth. Long-term survival means building habitats underground or covering them with thick layers of Martian soil just to stay alive. Then there's gravity. Mars has about 38% of Earth's gravity. That might sound fun at first. Jump higher. Move easier. But your body depends on gravity. Your bones, muscles, heart, and even your eyesight rely on it. Astronauts who spend months in space already experience bone loss, muscle weakness, and vision problems. On Mars, gravity is better than zero, but it may still not be enough to keep the human body healthy over decades. We don't even know what happens to children born and raised in low gravity. Their bodies might never develop properly, and that leads to a terrifying unknown: reproduction. No one knows if humans can safely conceive, carry, and raise children on Mars. Radiation could damage embryos. Low gravity could affect development. Pregnancy itself might be dangerous. A colony that cannot reproduce is not a civilization. It's a temporary outpost. Water is another challenge. Yes, Mars has water ice, mostly underground and at the poles. But extracting it is difficult. Melting it takes energy. Purifying it takes technology. Recycling it perfectly is not optional. Every drop matters. A single failure in the water system could be fatal. Food is no easier. Mars soil contains toxic chemicals called perchlorates. You can't just plant crops in it like a garden. Growing food would require controlled environments, artificial lighting, and constant monitoring. And if crops fail, there's no backup grocery store, no emergency supply chain. Resupply missions from Earth would take months, sometimes nearly a year. Survival on Mars means total self-sufficiency from day one. Now let's talk about the psychological side. This is something people often ignore. Living on Mars would mean isolation unlike anything humans have ever experienced. No fresh air. No open sky without a helmet. No spontaneous walks. No oceans, forests, or animals. Just metal walls, artificial light, and the same small group of people every single day. For years. Maybe for life. Human psychology is not designed for that. Even in Antarctica, where conditions are harsh but still Earth-like, people struggle with depression, conflict, and mental health issues. Mars would be far worse. The knowledge that you can never be rescued quickly. That Earth is a distant out in the sky. That every mistake could be fatal. That kind of pressure changes people. So why are scientists and space agencies even considering Mars? Why do some people believe it's the future of humanity? The answer is not because Mars is safe. It's because Earth is fragile. Mars represents a backup, a second location, a place to learn how to survive beyond Earth. Not because we want to abandon Earth, but because putting all of humanity on one planet is risky. Asteroids, pandemics, climate collapse, nuclear war. History has shown that no civilization is guaranteed to last forever. Mars is not an escape. It's a test. Some argue that Mars could be terraformed, that we could thicken the atmosphere, warm the planet, release trapped gases, and slowly turn it into a more Earth-like world. But this idea, while fascinating, may be far beyond our capabilities. Mars lost most of its atmosphere billions of years ago. Rebuilding it would require energy on a planetary scale. And even if we succeeded, it could take thousands, maybe millions of years. There's also the ethical question. Should we even try? Mars is one of the last untouched places in our solar system. If there's microbial life hidden beneath its surface, colonizing Mars could destroy it before we even discover it. Do we have the right to turn another planet into a copy of Earth? Another uncomfortable truth is that Mars colonization would not be for everyone, at least not at first. It would be dangerous, expensive, and unforgiving. The first humans on Mars would likely accept that they may never return to Earth. They would be pioneers in the most literal sense. Brave, but also vulnerable. So can humans really survive on Mars? The honest answer is yes, but only barely, and only with extreme effort, discipline, and technology. Survival would not look like life on Earth. It would be controlled, artificial, and fragile. Every system would need to work perfectly. There would be no room for complacency. Mars would not be a new home in the way we imagine home. It would be a constant reminder of how dependent we are on Earth. In fact, living on Mars might teach us how precious Earth truly is. Blue skies, oceans, rain, trees, gravity, protection. Life here is not normal in the universe. It's rare. And that may be the most important lesson Mars has to offer. Not that we should leave Earth, but that we should protect it. Because if surviving on Mars is the backup plan, it's a harsh one. Still, humans have always pushed into the unknown. From crossing oceans to exploring space, curiosity drives us forward. Mars is the next question mark. A challenge that tests our intelligence, cooperation, and humility. Surviving on Mars would not be a victory over nature. It would be a negotiation with it. A constant reminder that we are visitors, not masters. So when people ask if Mars is suitable for humanity, the real question is this. Are humans ready to change themselves to survive on Mars? Because Mars will not change for us easily. And maybe that's the point. Mars doesn't promise comfort. It promises understanding. About life. About limits. About what it truly means to survive. And as we look toward that red planet, the future of humanity may not be written in Martian soil, but in the choices we make here on Earth before we ever leave it.